Elizabeth Stakes. I think, Max, that yesterday, this along with the Ryder Stakes has been the two class events during your carnival. We brought together some of the very best horses, and I guess the really intriguing factor was Dane Wynn and how he would go at weight for age against the best horses. Again, he seemed to have every chance, but he was run down by a better horse on the day.
Oh, no doubt about that. The point with Jeune, though, is that he was confronted with a set of circumstances that were made to order for him. There was going to be a lot of pace up front. The track had that sting out of it, and Jeune is a damn good horse, but he's not a great horse. He can't make his own circumstances. If you get the race run to his liking, he will win, and it certainly was run to his liking yesterday.
Max, if he's not great, he's certainly the best around. He's had 11 runs at Group 1 level for 4 wins, 6 seconds, and the Cox Plate was his only unplaced run. He definitely clinched the Horse of the Year title yesterday.
Yes, I can't argue with that, Keith. Here as Dane Wynn seems to have every chance, goes up to the lead encouragingly, but when Jeune, who's been doing it very easily all the way, puts his claim in, Dane Wynn hasn't got an answer. Bobby Thompson, I feel, still is of the opinion that Jackie Che doesn't get the best out of Dane Wynn, but I couldn't criticise his performance yesterday.
Actually, it's been interesting, Max, reading the papers during the week. Two trainers, Bob Thompson and earlier John Morris, concerning Beedman's ride on March Hare, have been very critical of jockeys this week, something we haven't seen a lot of in the past.
Well, you bring that mention up, Bruce. Tommy Smith yesterday, I don't know whether I can say it on television, but bullshit. When Glenn Boss said to him he gave his horse every chance. Bullshit, repeated Tommy Smith. Now, I haven't seen Tommy Smith in a dither like that probably throughout his career. He copped Tulloch getting beaten by Sharpley in the 1961 Sydney Cup, sweeter than he copped Balmaressa running fourth yesterday.
Keith, wonder whether Max's suspension will be doubled for 2 utterances there, Bruce.
I was going to say, to remind me, Keith, next time I say to Max, go on, just say, no, don't go on at all. Calm Harbour, is he okay? Did he pull up all right, Max?
No, he pulled up in a distressed state. Again, we'll have to wait for further veterinary confirmation just how bad Calm Harbour or good Calm Harbour is. But Mick Dittman had no option but to pull him up yesterday, and his action was supported by the subsequent veterinary examination.
Will Jeune stay in training, do you think, or will he be retired?
Well, he's going so well. David Hayes, a master trainer, wants to keep him in work. Why wouldn't you keep him in work? And certainly he'll be a force in anything he races with, as long as he gets a bit of pace up front and as long as the tracks aren't too hard.
Let's look at the Sydney Cup. Keith, I'll start with you. Darcher, who had a good run all the way, young Brett Prebble, the only apprentice in the race. But this horse was 10-1 2 starts ago when he won the Duke of Norfolk Stakes. Has he made incredible improvement, or was this a pretty ordinary one?
Well, he's been consistent. He was 40-1 also when runner-up in the Chairman's Stakes, his last lead up to the Sydney Cup. You mentioned, Bruce, Brett Prebble. He's only 17. No apprentice has won this Cup at least in the last 40 years. And John Maher, the Melbourne-based trainer, he won the Cup in '87 with Major Drive and should have won it last year with Hear That Bell. So put together, this is a very fitting reward for them. Prebble, 137 rides, 51 on city tracks. He's the new Stephen King, and that's the opinion of his master, John Maher.
What did you make of it, Max? You were closer to the action yesterday.
I make it a very good ride by Prebble, not a vintage Sydney Cup, and certainly Dark Czar coming onto the scene very late here was most unlucky. That's Balmaressa, the you-know-what horse on the outside with a white cap and the red colours.
Was that the one that didn't have every chance? Tell me about Starstruck. She seemed to lay in badly in the straight. Was she sore, or did she fail to stay?
No, I think a couple of little factors. Starstruck does not seem as comfortable in the Sydney way of going as she is going the Melbourne way. Perhaps that might be a leg, might be giving her a bit of trouble. She wasn't really enthusiastic. She ran a good race, but I don't think she's 100% right. It was not a strong Sydney Cup.
I'm pleased for John Maher because, you know, 2 or 3 years ago, Keith, he was in the absolute elite level in horse training here in Australia, and he has had a fairly lean run probably since that final day of the carnival 2 years ago in the Melbourne Cup.
Yes, he did have a slump, and that led to the split with his stable rider Steve King. But he's grinding back, and he's been winning a lot of races, especially on the provincials and in town lately. He's back, Bruce.
Nothing better than a Group 1. Northwood Plume yesterday, Circles of Gold, won the Adrian Knox. This has been a good lead-up. Gavin Eads again, Group 1 in front. Keith, you again, firstly. Northwood Plume looked to have every chance. I mean, we can't criticise her. She's been an outstanding filly. She's won 3 times at Group 1. Do you think she's just just slightly over the top, or is there a little doubt about her as a true stayer?
I'm not sure. Yesterday was the first time that she'd been beaten by a filly. They dawdled the first 1,200 metres, 1:19.67. Damien Oliver gave her a lovely ride, but Group 1 Gavin on the winner, Circles of Gold, was able to dictate the pace, rate that filly beautifully, and she kept finding. So I think the result on the day was the right way, considering the run of the race. Northwood Plume, every chance.
Max?
Northwood Plume is a super filly. This was not the real Northwood Plume. Perhaps she's trained off. Perhaps the legs might have been feeling the hard racing she had on hard tracks at Rosehill, but she just didn't zip. She zipped for about one hop yesterday. That is not the real Northwood Plume. She'll get a mile and a half. She'll be a major force in the spring. We're
running out of time. Keith Alderson, he was good, wasn't he, yesterday?
Oh, he's rising 8. He's been injury prone. 14 starts for 8 wins now. Marvellous training performance.
And Max Juggler?
Top class, is going to win a lot of races.
Good on you. Max, we'll see you next week. We often retire you at this time of the year. Come back for the champagne, would you? States?
Yes, I'm starting to feel the hard tracks up here, Bruce.
And wash out your mouth too, Max.
Gentlemen, thank you. Keith Hillier, Max Presnell. A break. Kate back with scores after this, and then Frank Murray and hockey.